So, hi guys! Welcome back sa aking channel. Ito nga pala yung experiment 8 natin sa Data COMMS Lab, which is entitled Configure Network Devices with SSH. So, from the topology, meron tayong PCA, switch 1, and R1. So, yung addressing table natin, R1 has IP address of 192.168.1.1 and subnet mask of 255.255.255.0. Default gateway niya is NA. So for S1, IP address is 192.168.1.11. Same subnet mask but has a default gateway of 192.168.1.1, which is same for PCA. So PCA naman is IP address is 192.168.1.3. Objectives is Part 1, configure basic device settings. Part 2, configure the router for SSH access. Part 3, configure the switch for SSH access. And Part 4, SSH from the CLI on the switch. So, short background lang. In the past, Telnet was the most common network protocol used to remotely configure network devices. Telnet does not encrypt the information between the client and server. So, ang recommended nila is SSH, which is secure shell, na kasi nag-encrypt to ng all information that passes over the network link and provides authentication of the remote computer. So, required resources is one router, one switch, one PC, console cables, and Ethernet cables shown in the topology. So, part 1, configure basic device settings. So, gawin natin yung nandito. So, kami tayong router dito na router, then PC, then sa switch natin yung 2960. Then, ayan. Then, sa connections, copper straight crew cable, PCA, itong fast Ethernet 0. Tapos sa switch 1 is fast Ethernet 06. Another copper straight through cable. Fast Ethernet 05 to Gigabit Ethernet 001. So, ayan. Then cable the network as shown in topology. Initialize and reload the router and switch. Configure the router. So, rename na lang natin ito. S1 PCA R1. So, ayan. Then, console into the router and enable privilege exec mode. So, console natin yung PCA RS232 to USB console. Ay, wait. Okay. RS, then console. Then, ayan. Enter the configure. So, punta tayo sa PCA. Desktop, terminal. Okay. Then, click N. Then, sa router, assign class. Then assign Cisco. So, first is enable. Then, config T. Then, hostname. R1, no IP domain lookup. So, ayan yung sa step C, disable DNS lookup. So, ayan. Then, line con 0. For the password is Cisco. And login, exit. Then, line VTY 015. Then password Cisco. Then login, exit. Then encrypt the plain text password. So service password encryption. Then we will also add the banner MOTD. So banner MOTD authorize access only. Then, ayan. Then, exit. So, for the next step, configure and activate the GO/O/1 interface contained in the addressing table. So, first is show IP int brief. So, ayan yung Gigabit Ethernet 001 natin is not yet assigned. So, config T. Then, int go/0/1. So yung IP address natin is 192.168.1.1. So lalagay lang natin siya dyan. IP add 192.168.1.1 and the subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. Then description R1 IPv4 address. Then no shutdown. Exit. Show run. So ayan, nakikita natin hostname R1, service password encryption, then na-assign din natin yung sa gigabit ethernet 0.0.0.1. So ayan, then next is configure PCA with an IP address and subnet mask. So punta tayo sa terminal. Okay, save pala muna natin. Copy, run, start. So ayan, okay na siya. Then PCA IP configuration, yung sa IPv4 na 0.1.3. Then ayan yung subnet mask. Default gateway is 192.168.1.1. So ayan. Then configure default gateway. Then step 5, ping R1 from PCA. So PCA terminal. Okay. So ping 192.168.1.1. So ayan, success rate is 100%. So and so for part 2, configure the router for SSH access using telnet to connect a network device security risk. So step 1, configure device authentication. Device name domain are used as part of crypto. So ayan, PCA terminal, click OK. Then config T, then IP domain name ccna/lab.com. So ayun yung domain sa part of the crypto key. Then crypto key generate SSH, generate RSA. So so ayun yung name for the keys, r1.ccna/lab.com. So how many bits? 1024. Then username admin secret. So ito na yung sa step 3 natin. Username admin secret is, password will be admin p at 55. Then 9. So step 4, enable SSH on the VTY lines. Line VTY 015. Then transport input SSH. So ayan. Then login local. Then exit. Then copy, run, start. So ayan, okay na siya. Then na-save na natin. Then establish an SSH session. So punta tayo sa PCA, then sa telnet SSH client. Hostname natin or IP address is 192.168.1.1. Username is admin. Then click connect. Password is the admin p at 55. Admin 1 n at p, then at 55. So authorized access only. So na-establish natin. So naka-configure natin yung switch. Na-establish din natin. Then ayan, part 3, console into the switch and enable traffic. So parang sa PCA din to. So punta tayo sa switch 1, CLI, You click enter, enable config t, host name is S1, then no IP domain, lookup, enable secret class, and line con 0, and password Cisco, login, exit, line VTY 0 to 15, password Cisco, login, exit. Then, ayun, meron na naman siyang encrypt the plain text password. So, service, password, encryption. Banner MOTD din. Banner MOTD authorize access only. So, ayan. Then, click exit. So, step 2, use the same commands as you use to configure SSH. So, configure the device name as the listed. So, show IP int brief. So, i-assign natin yung sa ito, yung 192.168.1.11 sa VLAN 1. So, 0.11 siya. Then, ayan. Config t. Then, int VLAN 1. And IP add is 192.168.1.11. Then, subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. Then, description is S1 IPv4 IPv4 address. Then no shutdown. Then IP default gateway. IP default gateway is 192.168.1.1. Then exit. So ayan, yung step 2 naman natin, ko-configure natin yun parang sa part 2 kanina. So config t, IP domain name ccna/lab.com. Then crypto key generate RSA. Then how many bits? 1024. Then username, so yun pa rin yung username natin, yung admin username admin secret add mm1np@55. So ayan, line VTY 0 to 15, transport input SSH, login local, and exit, then ayan, copy, run, start. So ayan, start the return from PCA and then SSH to SV1 interface on S1. So punta tayo sa PCA telnet. So yung hostname naman ni S1. So 192.168.1.11. Username is admin. Password is adm1np@55. So authorized access only. So for the next step, so for the part 4, SSH from from the CLI on the switch. The SSH client is built into the Cisco iOS and can be run from the CLI. In part 4, you will SSH to the router from the CLI on the switch. So, punta tayo sa PCA, then SSH client. So, enter natin yung IP address ng switch, 192.168.1.11. Username is admin. And connect. The password is ADM1NP at 55. So, then, para makuha natin to, click natin yung enable. So, the password is class. Then, step. Isa pa. Ayan. So, ito-type to natin yung itong nasa step A. L admin 192.168.1.1. So, for the password, it is ADM1NP at 55. So, authorized access only. So, you can return to S1 without closing the SSH session to R1 by pressing Ctrl-Shift-6. So, Ctrl-Shift-6, then click X. So, ayan, bumalik tayo sa S1. To return to the SSH session ng R1, press Enter na blank. So, enter lang natin. So, yun, bumalik sa R1. So, to end the session on the R1, type exit. Exit. So, ayan. So, reflection question, how would you provide multiple users, each with their own username, access to a network device? So, kagaya ng ginawa natin kanina, by adding each other's username and password to the local database using the username command. So, that's the end of this experiment.